Hello and welcome back. In our previous sessions, we learned how to tell an AI who to be using the persona pattern and what we want the output to look like using few shot examples. Today, we are going to take the next major leap forward and learn how to teach the AI how to think. We'll be covering two advanced prompting concepts, chain of thought and the ReAct framework, to move from getting simple answers to generating complex, verifiable solutions. Here is our path for today's session. We'll start with a quick recap of the power of the persona pattern. Then, we'll define the problem that arises when we ask the AI to handle complex tasks. Our primary solution will be chain of thought prompting. We'll define what it is, why it works, and apply it to a practical lease classification problem. After that, you'll have a chance to build your own chain of thought prompt in an interactive activity. We'll then look to the future by introducing the next level of AI interaction, the ReAct framework, which combines reasoning with action. Finally, we'll summarize our key takeaways on when to use each of these powerful techniques. Let's quickly recap our foundation. In our first session, we learned that the most important pattern is the persona pattern. By telling the AI to act as a specific expert, like a senior audit manager, we focus its knowledge and set the appropriate tone, vocabulary, and format for a professional context. But today, we are going to give our expert persona a much more powerful way to reason through the complex problems it will face. This brings us to a common problem. When you ask an AI a multi-step question without providing any guidance on how to solve it, the AI will often try to jump directly to the final answer. This can lead to several issues. The first is what we call hallucinations, where the AI confidently makes up incorrect facts. The second is logical leaps, where it skips critical intermediate steps, which leads to a flawed conclusion. And perhaps most importantly for us as accountants, this creates a lack of transparency. You get an answer, but you have no idea how the AI arrived at it, making it impossible to verify or trust. The challenge for us is, how do we force the AI to show its work and think more like a human analyst? The solution to this problem is a technique called chain of thought prompting. Chain of thought is a technique where you explicitly instruct the AI to break down a complex problem into a series of intermediate, sequential steps before it provides a final answer. Often, this is accomplished with a simple magic phrase like think step by step or explain your reasoning step by step. This works for a few key reasons. First, it reduces errors. By forcing the AI to focus on one logical step at a time, it's far less likely to make a mistake. Second, it improves accuracy, because the final answer is built upon a foundation of sound, reasoned steps. And third, it provides transparency. It shows you the AI's reasoning process, allowing you to audit its thinking and identify any potential flaws in its logic. This simple instruction dramatically improves the AI's ability to perform complex reasoning tasks. Let's see this in action with a lease classification problem under ASC 842. A bad prompt with no chain of thought would simply state the facts and ask, is this a finance lease or an operating lease? The result you might get is a simple one-sentence answer that says, it's a finance lease. This answer might be correct, but it's a black box, making it impossible to trust or use in a professional setting. Now, look at a good prompt that uses chain of thought. We start with a persona. Act as a CPA specializing in lease accounting. Then, we give it the instruction. Explain your reasoning step by step, evaluating each of the 5 finance lease criteria individually before reaching a final conclusion. The result you'll get is a beautifully structured analysis where the AI checks each of the 5 criteria one by one, shows its work, and then reaches its final conclusion. This output is verifiable, trustworthy, and useful. Now it's your turn to practice. Here is a revenue recognition scenario under ASC 606. A software company sells a 12-month subscription that includes both access to its cloud software and a one-time upfront implementation service. The total contract price is $50,000. Your team needs to determine how much revenue to recognize in the first month of the contract. Your task is to work in your groups and craft a prompt that uses both a persona and the chain of thought pattern to guide the AI through the 5-step revenue recognition model of ASC 606. Chain of thought is an excellent tool for problems where you can provide all the necessary information up front in the prompt. But what if the AI needs to find new information or use a tool to solve the problem? This is where a more advanced concept called the ReAct framework comes in. ReAct stands for Reason and Act. It's a paradigm where the AI cycles through a thought, action, observation loop. First, it thinks about what it needs to do next. Then, it takes an action, like performing a web search or running a piece of code. Finally, it makes an observation, analyzing the result of its action, which then informs its next thought. While you can't directly implement this in a standard chat interface today, understanding this concept is key to understanding the future of AI. This diagram helps illustrate the conceptual difference between these two approaches. On the left, you can see chain of thought is a linear internal monologue. It follows a direct path from the problem through a series of steps to the final answer. It's perfect for self-contained problems that require logical deduction. On the right, the ReAct framework is an iterative, external-facing loop. The AI thinks, then acts by using a tool like search, observes the result, and that observation informs its next thought. It's designed for more dynamic problems that require interacting with the outside world to gather information. Let's summarize how to choose the right tool for the problem. For any complex task, you must go beyond a simple prompt and guide the AI's reasoning process. You should use chain of thought with the phrase think step by step when you have all the necessary information and you need the AI to perform a multi-step logical analysis. This is perfect for tasks like applying accounting standards, calculating variances, or analyzing case studies. You should understand the ReAct framework as the next frontier, where AI can actively gather data to solve problems. This is the future of AI-powered analysis. And remember, the most effective prompts combine these techniques. Always start with a persona and then add chain of thought to give your expert persona a powerful way to think.